What you are watching is real. The debaters are actual D&D players. Both parties have agreed to dismiss their tableside debates and instead settle their differences here. Today on Garage Quest Debates, can Dimension Door fail?
I'm May, and I'm here to tell everyone that Dimension Door cannot fail. It says right there in the spell that the spellcaster arrives at exactly the spot that he desires. It is inherently infallible.
My name is Rusty, and I believe that the success of Dimension Door is linked to the knowledge of the player, and thus can fail.
Dimension Door absolutely cannot fail. Now, my reasoning for that is simply that, yes, does it list some ways that you can go about describing it, as in distance or visualizing it, seeing it? Sure. But right before that is a sentence in the spell that prefaces, it says, you arrive at exactly the spot desired. Period. That couldn't be clearer. You arrive at the spot desired. Whether or not you've been there before shouldn't be of any merit, because they've stated you arrive at exactly the spot desired. Not described, not the spot you've seen before, but the spot that you've desired. So there shouldn't be any possibility of failing Dimension Door.
Well, you're citing the actual text of the spell, so I feel that
As we both should be.
we need to actually dig into this a little further, because your claim hinges on the word desired, exactly as desired. And then they continue on by, in the direction, stating a distance and direction, such as 200 feet straight downward. So that means that it puts you at 200 feet straight downwards. You'd agree with me there?
Yes, absolutely.
But what if your desire wasn't to land in the middle of just solid rock, but that is in reality what was 200 feet straight downward?
I think that we only have so many communication tools, and if you specify 200 feet downward, then yes, you should land basically 200 feet downward. But that is a problem with communication between the DM and the player. That's the player not expressing themselves accurately. You can't read a player's mind. But I think if a player expresses they want to arrive at the bottom of a well, they shouldn't have to describe how many feet, or have seen it before, or have been there before, in order to arrive at the bottom of the well.
Again, I really think that this hinges on your interpretation of just one or two words in here, like desire and can. For example, when we look at it, it can be a place you can see, or you can visualize, or you can describe. In my interpretation of this, I view that from a DM's perspective as can, and with the implicit implication of accurately describe or accurately visualize. For example, what if in your head this well that you've never been to the bottom of before, what if it's not a straight down well, and you didn't know that as a player character, and you didn't realize that it actually has a certain pitch to it, and putting yourself at the bottom of the well actually means having to go diagonally from the mouth of the well? Is that accounted for in your desire?
It absolutely is. And the reason I say so is that, diagonal or not, you can reach the end, the bottom, whatever you like to use it. Colloquially, there are many terms. But ultimately, we both understand where it is that I'm talking about. And if we don't, then that's up for the DM to say, what do you mean the bottom? Do you mean the end? Because, frankly, you may interpret that can as accurate. But I actually interpret the words you can describe, or you can see, or you can visualize as just options, not the only limitations. They're listing 3 ways that you can communicate to the DM what your desired location is. But those are not the only 3 ways, and they don't ever say in the spell by letter that those are the only three ways. The only thing they say verbatim by letter specifically is that you absolutely end up in the spot that you desired.
Well, I just disagree with that interpretation. I think it's vague and it leaves the spell far overpowered, because it's basically a foolproof teleportation spell at that point.
Well, within 500 feet. It does have a limit placed on it. I mean, let's not get ridiculous here. I mean, it's not a teleportation spell. We all know that. We don't need to exaggerate in order to make our points. The point is that Dimensional Door will take you exactly where you want to go. And I think that you make some good points about the DM actually understanding where it is you want to go. But frankly, I don't see any reason why this spell should fail. So that would be my argument.
Well, I think you're wrong. Well, May seems to think that Dimension Door is foolproof. I think she's wrong, but why don't you be the judge?
Yeah. Why don't you leave a comment below letting us know if you think that Dimension Door is foolproof or not. And why don't you tell us why as well. And hey, subscribe. This has been Garage Quest D&D Debates. Thanks for watching.
Go forth and quest.